All right. Have horn will travel.
Yes, sir.
Man, I must say, man, when I learned that you were writing a book on Junior Cook, I was like enthralled, man. I'm like, congratulations, first of all, man.
Thank you very much.
You know, I met Junior Cook one time.
Okay.
At the One Step Down. He died a week later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't really know Munir. Had to hit me to who he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, Have Horn will travel. The life and music of Herman Junior Cook.
Yes, sir.
What inspired you to write the book?
Going back to my Georgetown years, I mentioned my good friend Alex Goldman, guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
He let me borrow. He was also in the Georgetown Jazz Ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
He let me borrow a CD back in that time. I think it was the debut CD for the Harper Brothers. It was called Remembrance, live at the Village Vanguard.
I think I got.
And on that CD, they played a cover of Horace Silver's song "Kiss Me Right," which he.
Is that song? Is that the song that goes like that?
Yeah. And he listening to that, I realized Horace Silver composed it. I mean, and they were killing on like Winard on drums, Philip Harper on trumpet, Justin Robinson was alto.
I remember that song, man.
And listening to it, I said, man, they killing on it. I wonder how Horace Silver did it. Like, what does the original sound like?
Gotcha.
So I went and found that. Horace Silver recorded it, and I don't know that he ever played it again, that tune, Kiss Me Right, but it's on an album called Live at the Village Gate.
Gotcha.
Doing the thing. And that was my first introduction to Junior Cook.
Wow.
Listening to that song, listening to that album. And then I realized, you know, Junior Cook and Blue Mitchell on trumpet, they were the front line for Horace Silver from 1958 to 1964. So 6-year time span. So there are a lot of iconic Horace Silver compositions that many people know that when they're listening to those compositions, they're hearing Junior Cook.
Wow.
On tenor saxophone. So Sister Sadie, Cooking at the Continental. He originally recorded Nika's Dream with Hank Mobley, but then he recorded it again with Junior Cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Hank was with him first, right? And
yes.
Then, okay.
Hank was with him first. And then Hank Mobley was incarcerated for his drug addiction. Clifford Jordan came in very briefly, and then Junior Cook came in right after Clifford Jordan.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I got to see Hank Mobley too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one time.
Wow.
I was in high school, sitting at a club called Natalie's on 40th and Market.
Okay.
And I didn't know who he was, man. He was playing on one lung. I got to hear him play.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there as a little kid with my horn, just want to sit on a tune or two. And a friend of mine said, "You know who that is?" He said, "Man, that's Hank Mobley." I said, "Okay." And then Hank came and said, Hank saw me with my case. Hank came up and said, "Can you play that thing?" I said, "Yeah." Yeah. So I find it interesting that, now did you think Junior Cook and initially, I guess when he initially came in the band, was similar to Hank Mobley?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think, I trace in the book where Junior Cook and Horace Silver, they first met. It appears they first met here in Washington, D.C. And I think, Junior Cook says in an interview that he thinks Horace Silver heard some Hank Mobley in his playing and Junior Cook's playing. And that's what attracted them. Yeah, together.
Okay. Wow.
But I first hearing Junior Cook on that Horace Silver CD, that was probably around 1992 or so, probably right around the time that he passed, because he passed in February of 1992. And then jump a little bit ahead. my wife, Sabrina, is born and raised in Pensacola, Florida. And I realized Junior Cook was from Pensacola, Florida. Yeah. So then jump ahead again to COVID and have all this time on my hands, world's on lockdown, thinking about Junior Cook and trying to do some research, just Google search and figure out something about his life, and really couldn't find a whole lot.
Wow.
So that started me on the journey to research and try to interview folks and culminated in the book. It took me about 4 years.
It took you 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
Now, did you listen prior to that? Were you into was that one of your dudes that you was checking out?
Yeah, I was checking him out. Okay. I like Junior Cook, and certainly toward the top of my list. I have to say, even though I heard and listened to Dexter Gordon in Round Midnight, I feel like he really pulled me into jazz. Mm-hmm. If I had to name one and only one, all-time favorite saxophonist is Stanley Turrentine.
Gotcha.
He's got the bebop thing down, but man, he's oozing with the blues. Yeah, you know what I mean? But Junior Cook, Charlie Rouse, man, those cats, they just saying something, man. It's so melodic and lyrical in their playing. Yeah. And deliberate, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So, what are some things that you would like readers to take away about Junior Cook that they will get in Have Horn Will Travel?
One of the great things, one of the great compliments for the book I received actually came from Munir Nasser. We were talking about it after I finished the book, and he complimented the book that it was a contribution to the history of jazz in the second half of the 20th century.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at a number of histories around these days, I've heard some people who have experience in some jazz studies programs in the academic setting, and they complain in certain terms because it seems like those jazz programs only go from Louis Armstrong to Charlie Parker.
Gotcha.
And I was also thinking about this. I don't know if you remember, it's hard to believe, 25 years ago that Ken Burns put out that History of Jazz on PBS. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So look, that series was 10 episodes long. Mm-hmm. Episode 1 started the late 19th century, so 1890s or so. Mm-hmm. Episode 9 finished in 1961.
Wow.
Episode 10, the very last episode, went from 1961 to 2001. So that gives you a sense of the significance, or maybe the lack of significance, that they perceived in that time period. Yeah. Some people, they think about jazz in, say, the 1970s, 1980s, and all they think about is like Miles Davis' Bitches Brew or Weather Report or, Return to Forever or CTI Records. They act like it's almost as if they perceive that straight ahead jazz went into a coma in 1965, and then it woke up out of the coma when Wynton came to New York City.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But the what I want people to take from Have Horn Will Travel is that throughout that whole period, 60s, 70s, 80s, people were playing this music, and they were playing it at a very high level.
Yeah. And dedicated.
And when you look at Junior Cook's life, even though he wasn't one that sat in the marquee, you know what I mean? Yeah. He was playing, like I said, Horace Silver, 58 to 64. Then he continued that Horace Silver vibe with Blue Mitchell. They played in a group together until about 68 or so. He played with great Freddie Hubbard on trumpet. He had a quintet with great Louis Hayes on drums and Woody Shaw on trumpet in the 1970s. Played in a quintet with Bill Hardman in New York, and they were very prominent on the New York City scene and Jazzmobile, which I talked about in the book. So that's really what I'd like to take. One, that this music was continuing at a very high level. And then also, there's a book called, and I have it here, it's called Blues People. By Amiri Baraka. Right.
Formerly Roy Jones.
And he talks about, in the introduction to his book, the importance of us, going back to the beginning of this conversation, the importance of us documenting our music and our culture and our people, and doing it with the institutional specificity that we do for European classical music.
Absolutely.
As I was coming up and trying to research this book, I realized, we know a lot, and not putting down it anyway. We know a lot about Bird. We know a lot about Train. I can go on Google. I can find out when John Coltrane was born, where he was born, when his father died, when his grandfather died, when his mother moved him to Philadelphia, where he went to high school, when he joined the Navy Band, when he recorded with the Navy Band, recorded Charlie Parker tune. And so little of that I could find on Junior Cook. I'd go online and it'd say, Junior Cook was born in 1934. In 1958, he started playing with Horace Silver, and I'm thinking, what happened between 1934 and 1958? Who were Junior Cook's musical influences? What was Pensacola like in the 1940s? What was it like for black people in the 1940s? What were his musical influences, the bands that played, in that area? And in the book talks a little bit about the Chitlin Circuit and all of that.
And I find it, one thing I dig, man, is that, it's so many artists in jazz that get overlooked. Like you said, they're going to have Train, they're going to have, Bird, Miles, and Sonny Rollins, who we just lost. But to pull a cat that's what they call the uncrowned king,
unsung heroes,
unsung heroes, that type of thing. But a lesson that I get from it is that you never know, and it's for people who have, I'm sure Junior Cook would probably never thought that somebody would actually reach back and try to put some pieces together, in his honor and in his name. But had not he done the work, had not he did what he was, whatever I may be sent here to do,
there'd be no story to tell.
It'd be no story to tell. And the fact that you were able to unearth, even small, no matter how small, that helps. They live on through that. And at least on this plane,
right. Praise God.
You keep their legacy. I'm really big on legacy, man. I said nothing is not unimportant. So everything you do that matters. So man, that's beautiful that you have taken a cat that I only saw him one time, and I got and then he died a week later.
Right.
And at that, I didn't know who he was at the time because his name, when I was coming up, I just didn't hear his name.
Right.
And Munir had to tell me who he was, and I got to hear him, of course. And so,
and I actually think I just missed him because I'm pretty sure it was sometime in the mid '90s. I went to One Step Down to hear Cedar Walton, and Ralph Moore was playing with him on tenor. And, taking nothing from Ralph Moore, I know from researching the book that Ralph Moore would sit in or would sub for Junior Cook sometimes. And I don't know, I just speculate that had Junior Cook still been alive, that might have been his gig.
No doubt. Beautiful, man. Another thing, man, like you mentioned that, especially from our generation, not a lot of people. Munir's an author,
right?
He wrote a book on his dad, upright bass. I know a cat wrote a book on Sonny Rollins. I think of his name. Aiden Levy.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
But it's not a lot of people documenting the music,
Right.
And so, man, that's what makes what you're doing even that much more significant.
Thank you.
And,
It's funny. I saw I'll put this out there. I saw a Facebook post from Willie Jenkins recently after Sonny Rollins passed, and he sort of threw a question out there about, at Sonny Rollins passing, who are sort of the, some of the greatest living jazz musicians, still among us.
Yeah.
And it really, brought to mind the need to document their stories and document their lives and their careers while they're still here.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
And I can rattle off names just from D.C.
Right.
We talked about Andrew White. To me, who's didn't get, he's people know him, but as a cat Andrew documented himself.
Right. This is true. 700 pages worth. Yeah.
So he knew he was that forward thinking.
Right.
So he
that's true.
But especially as African Americans, man, we got geniuses. Like Andrew was like a genius in every sense of the word.
Yes.
I mean, and a lot of these guys get overlooked in life. They're great. Buck Hill, we got
Carter Jefferson.
Jefferson, man.
And then that Facebook post, they were talking about George Coleman, Gary Bartz, still among us right now.
Now I was talking to Munir. A lot of those cats, if you try to get an interview, a lot of times they might hold that information close to the chest.
That's true.
It's hard to get them sit down to interview.
Right.
To share this information. And so they take this stuff to the grave.
That's true.
So we gotta help them to see another side of it. Look, when you got somebody wanting to document and give it right from the horse's mouth while you're here.
Exactly. Legacy building.
Yeah, take that opportunity because jazz is not the most popular music in our country at this point. So when somebody really wants to sit down and get your information while you here,
jump on that.
I
hear you.
Some cats take information to the grave, man, and for what reason I don't know.
Right.
But they leave stuff to conjecture and that sort of thing. But man, we glad that you took it upon yourself to document some of the life of Herman Jr. Cook.
Yeah, thank you.
And have Horn Will Travel, the life and music of Herman Jr. Cook. Now he's from Florida. I was just looking up some of the musicians that come from Florida. Sam Jones.
Yes.
Cannonball, Nat Adderley. Gigi Grice.
Yes.
Blue Mitchell, Bobby Felder, who just passed, is from Florida. Idris Suleiman. Oscar Denard.
Right.
Doug Karn.
Yes.
Charles Tolliver. Rodney Kendrick. Raymond Angry Arfrat.
Okay. Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. So that and which is interesting because a lot of time when you hear about those cities that produce some or those places that produce some great musicians, you hear about Philly, you hear about Baltimore, Detroit, New York, but so here's some cats that come out of Florida,
exactly.
That I think puts Florida on the map. Actually,
yeah. And there's so many places like that. That maybe you wouldn't like you said. You think of a Chicago or D.C. or New York, but maybe not think as much about Florida or not think as much about Indianapolis, where Freddie Hubbard came out of. You know what I mean? Not think as much about. Now it's escaping me now where Joe Henderson, was born. I think he was in Ohio. I think
Joe Henderson from Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I believe yes. And speaking of Joe Henderson, in the book you mentioned how Junior Cook and Joe Henderson, because I was listening to some Junior, man. I'm hearing some Joe Henderson too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if it had to do with that hard rubber mouthpiece, because you get a different sound on the hard rubber on tenor than with tenor. I mean, the metal.
Right.
But Junior Cook and Joe Henderson lived together for some time, right?
Yes. When Joe Henderson got out of the Army and came to New York, he hung with Junior Cook for a while. And it's really funny. There's an interview or an excerpt of an interview. It's on YouTube. The link is somewhere in the book with Freddie Hubbard. And Freddie Hubbard said that in the early days, you heard Junior Cook and Joe Henderson, you really couldn't tell them apart.
Wow.
They were so similar, and the research suggests, from their interaction when Henderson first came to New York, that they probably did a lot of shedding together.
Yeah.
And of course they're contemporaries. They're sitting in that same time period.
Now, were they competitive with each other?
I think they were competitive. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And one of all the folks that I had the opportunity to interview, one person who I was not able to interview, I wish I could have, was the great George Cables on piano, because, and I had a conversation with tenor saxophonist Javon Jackson. He had suggested I try to contact George Cables because George Cables played keys in the Freddie Hubbard quintet when Junior Cook was there.
Wow.
And he played with Joe Henderson on Joe Henderson's album. So he would have been someone uniquely able to sort of compare and contrast what he heard,
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe if you ever do a new edition, you get interview from, But yeah. That's interesting, man. I noticed, and I read in the book that Junior Cook didn't do much composing.
Right.
Which meant he didn't collect a lot of song royalties from writing songs for these. And you would think that with these masters, if you run song, you would have had royalties coming in.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Someone asked Junior Cook about that at one point, and his response was that he was composing every night when he was on the stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But one really interesting aspect of the book is looking at his life in the way of, the music industry and the music business. The phrase music business is composed of two words. There's the music and there's the business. You know what I mean? And it's just interesting looking at his life, and obviously he was an in-demand player. Horace Silver, Freddie Hubbard, Bill Hardman, Louis Hayes. But he, for whatever reason, didn't have that. I don't know if he didn't have the business acumen or if it just wasn't as important to him. One time I was interviewing the pianist, Mickey Tucker, who was one of the first interviews I had researching for the book. And he said that, he recorded an album, Junior Cook, where he was the leader on the album, a Steeplechase release. And they recorded a Mickey Tucker composition for Junior Cook's album. And so Mickey Tucker was saying he probably got paid more off of Junior Cook's album than Junior Cook did, precisely for that reason, right? Because he had the composition and he'd be getting royalties off of it, whereas Junior Cook might just be a one and done, or, as the CDs are sold or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, did you have to fund the book yourself? Or did you
pretty much exclusively. I funded the research effort. All myself, with the exception of a very generous fellowship I received from Rutgers University. Up at Rutgers in New Jersey, they have the Institute for Jazz Studies, which is a phenomenal repository of information on jazz, and I applied and was selected for a research fellowship. So they gave me a grant that funded me to go up there for a week and do research for the book up there. So other than that, the book was totally self-financed until I sent it to University of North Texas Press. An earlier draft. That was before my research trip. They were very interested in Junior Cook as a subject of the book. They have a musician biography series down there. So the book worked into that that series. Yeah. So once I went to Institute for Jazz Studies, did some more research and some more writing, they decided they were interested in it, and it went through their review process, and they picked it up for publication, which was tremendous blessing, it being my first book that University of North Texas Press
Now, what
published.
is that process like, man? I mean, what was the overall process like? I mean, was it grueling, tenacious? I mean,
it was definitely like I said, it took 4 years. It definitely playing the long game. And it was a lot of I don't know, just felt a little bit like detective work. You know what I mean?
But you didn't feel overwhelmed at any point?
Not especially because I think because I didn't have a firm deadline, right? This was my personal project. So it was sort of on my own timeline.
Yeah, I got you.
But started out in COVID doing Google searches, and then started thinking about, who else can I contact? And I did a lot of this through Facebook Messenger, actually, oddly enough. So like if Courtney Nero wanted to contact Antonio Parker and we didn't already know each other, I could still find your account in Facebook Messenger and send you a message,
Gotcha.
and either it would get to you or it would go to sort of a spam folder or something like that. But that was much of the research for this book. I read something about Mickey Tucker. I found him on Facebook. I sent him a message. I said, are you the Mickey Tucker? You know what I mean? And this cat, he's living in Australia right now.
Wow.
So he responded. He was very generous with his time and information. He sent several photos that are featured in the book.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was Facebook Messenger or emails.
Wow.
Starting out sort of, you don't know me, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My name is Courtney Nero. I'm working on this book on Junior Cook, and most of the people, not everybody, most of the people I contacted, they were really interested in this effort. They were really, grateful to me that I was putting forward this effort trying to document Junior Cook's story.
That's interesting. Like from a publisher standpoint, most publishers probably would be interested in a named person.
Right.
They think that a named person would be more marketable or whatever. But you got a fairly obscure cat that's in terms of notoriety. People who are not into jazz knowing about jazz.
Right.
I mean, if you're into jazz, you're going to, of course, learn. You probably know about who Junior Cook was. Did you find any pushback because you were doing a kind of an obscure cat that?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, as part of the process, when I am sort of marketing the book or trying to get them to pick it up, University of North Texas Press has a process, and you have to put together sort of an application package.
Gotcha.
Talk about the research that you've done, talk about similar books that may be out there, who's your audience,
Gotcha.
What's the significance, and then I also had to send them a sample chapter out of the book. So
Gotcha.
at that point, I sent them what's now chapter 2, which talks about Junior Cook's time with Horace Silver.
Gotcha.
And they were interested in it. And I think they were interested both in the story in and of itself, and then just in the effort to, again, to document this story, to document those who may not be on everyone else's radar. But to their credit, in their biography series, they also have biographies on Cedar Walton.
Okay.
UNT Press has a biography on King Curtis.
Okay. Wow.
Have biography on Mel Lewis. a biography on Pat Metheny, actually, on part of his time in time.
You have considered doing a documentary to supplement or complement the book?
I have thought about doing a documentary. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just a different, kettle of fish, but it's something I'd be willing to think about. And also, it's a very interesting story. When Junior Cook first came from Florida to New York City, he came to New York for a little bit, a couple of years. He went back to Pensacola. Then he came back in 57. 57, he was playing with Dizzy Gillespie Big Band for a little while.
Yeah.
And at one point, he seemed sort of maybe self-conscious in his own ability. Junior Cook wasn't sure that he belonged in that, because when he said he sat in the rehearsal, and Sonny Stitt is sitting on the other side of him, and he's like, shaking in his boots.
Yeah.
And at one point, he decided he was going to leave.
Wow.
And so a lot of the cats were staying in this hotel. He went down in the lobbies trying to sneak out. And one of the other cats in the band, saw him and saw that he was trying to sneak out and sort of encouraged him, and said, Dizzy Gillespie wouldn't have you in the band if he didn't think, you had what it took.
Yeah.
So he told him, going back upstairs, Junior, because he was younger than everybody else, and that was sort of where the nickname Junior Cook caught on, and it stuck.
Wow.
But the point is, I've also thought about doing a book, maybe even like a children's book or something. Capturing a piece of that story, where sometimes you may be on a journey and you have doubts in yourself.
No doubt.
But other people can encourage you, and other people can help show you the talent and the potential that you have inside and set you on the rest of your journey.
So how did you know you can write a book and be successful at it? Or you just is that self-belief or faith?
It was, you used the word tenacious before. I decided that after I started the research process and interviewing these cats, I decided I was going to give it a go to try to get a publisher. But if not, particularly these days, 21st century, there are a number of resources available for self-publishing. So I told myself, if I didn't get a bite from a publisher, I was just going to publish it myself. And that would be a different set of logistics. I'd have to deal with my own distribution, stuff like that. But I said that'd be possible.
Now,
as well.
Are there advantages to self-publishing versus getting a publisher? Like, do they make certain things easier for you?
I think having a publisher does make some things easier. They take some things off your plate. Most notably, like I mentioned, the distribution and some of the marketing. But it certainly is not impossible to publish yourself. It just takes more time and logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to have more skin in the game.
That's right. That's true.
Wow, beautiful, man. So let me ask you, man. I remember reading, I was fascinated with Charlie Parker, his music, and Bird Lives. I read that when I was in high school. And through his music and reading and hearing the stories, I felt like even though Bird died about 14, 15 years before I was born, I felt like I know Bird. I know him.
Right.
Do you feel like through this research on Junior Cook that you know who, you kind of got an idea of what kind of cat he was and his thought process and what kind of musician he was? Did you get that?
I did get that feeling.
Okay.
I did because, interviewing Mickey Tucker, who played in a couple of groups with him, in just, a few. Michael Weiss, pianist in New York, who played with the Bill Hardman group. Great Timmy Shepard, who's a vocalist. He lives in Baltimore now. He and his son Kelly were tremendous resources for me. Timmy Shepard was a vocalist with Junior Cook, Bill Hardman Quintet. And then Timmy Shepard also was roommates with Junior Cook for a few years.
Wow.
So it just really gave me insight into like you said, to know in Junior Cook and realizing that, different strokes, man. We're not all built the same way.
Yeah.
We're all playing this music and trying to grow and develop in it, but we all come at it from different ways, and some of it is still a mystery, still a mystery why he didn't compose more than he did, or he didn't pursue more leader dates or something like that.
Just hearing some of the stories in the book, he reminded me, I could see certain New York cats, they have certain kind of mentality, like you say, he didn't play. They asked him to play some of those horse show tunes, and
right,
and want to,
yeah,
we already did that,
right.
Kind of music speaks for itself, and those, that kind of, I am a composer. I compose, I compose on the bandstand,
Right.
So I understand that thought process.
Yeah.
Those cats that but and you can get that. That's what I get. When I get from the book.
Yeah, and there's a section as well that really goes into. He was pretty prominent on the jam session scene, especially in the 1980s, and from cats like Michael Weiss and Timmy Shepard, saxophonist Sue Terry, who's down in Ecuador right now. I learned a lot about, when you talk about legacy, sort of about the things, Joe Farnsworth, things that Junior Cook taught, not necessarily by saying do this or don't do that, but things they just learned from his example.
Yeah.
Being able to say what you need to say in 2 or 3 choruses. Talked about programming. If you did a rhythm changes tune, you don't need to do another one. You already did that. Keeping it diversified, both for the band and also for the audience, to give the audience a good time.
See, cats like Junior Cook, when I was coming up, were running the jam session. Like we had Bootsy Barnes and Philly, They were the cats running the jam session. So they would. There's a, I think, when you come up in the University of the Streets, as they call it, you learn. That's a lesson. You learn how to do things,
right?
How to run a session,
right?
From the cats that's might be a little bit more older or whatever, and you pass that. I don't know if that thing has been severed any because of now we got internet and all this stuff. People learning, you go to college, they learn it on YouTube,
right.
But it's very important to pass these stories down.
Yes.
I think, and that's another thing why I think that book is will be very useful in the literature of jazz. Man, because a lot of these cats are taking the stories to the grave.
It's true. It's true. And one of the points that Ralph Moore made to me, Ralph Moore, one of my contemporary heroes, man.
Yeah.
And he just talked about the jam session scene, talked about how they learned the music in community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the sort of unanswered questions in the book, sort of goes into it at the very end to think about, not to discount the value of technology, but as we look at technology, think about what we are gaining, but then also potentially what we're losing. Some cats, they learn solo by playing the record 42 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, you go to YouTube and you can find a transcription video and you can slow it down to 0.5 or something, So there's a benefit there, there's something to gain there, but there's also something lost if you're not putting in that time. You know what I mean?
Outside of the music, there's a culture. It's like hip hop is not just when they tell hip hop as like a cultural thing. It's not just the music.
Right.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
Jazz, as we call it, is a culture too. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I say, you learn. It's an oral tradition type of thing. That's things that are passed down. How somebody said, not just what they said.
Right.
You did.
Yeah.
And a lot. if you don't talk to the elders and especially before they pass, you ain't gonna get that.
Right.
And how they the way they communicated. So where you got these younger musicians, they can play all over the place.
Yeah, yeah.
But then when you get off the horn, and when you get off the bandstand, and you have a conversation with them, and it's like, you don't see that hipness, that same kind of, it just don't add up.
Right, like, right.
How you playing all this stuff, man? Then, you get off the bandstand, you kind of square.
And some of them, even they have that, they either mastered the horn, they have that virtuosity on the horn, but just because you're playing a lot of notes doesn't mean you're saying something.
Absolutely.
You could be, James Brown said, talking loud and saying nothing. So it's not just, certainly you can't get by without, mastering the horn. And I'm on my, I have a ways to go on that end, but there's learning the horn and then learning how to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask, how did you know when you were finished, complete? Say, you did all the research. I'm sure you had to do a lot of editing, and the writing is wonderful, man. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
I said, okay, this cat's writing, boy. Yeah, I mean, the writing is wonderful. How'd you know when? Okay, we ready to go.
Right. Just in the process, going from beginning to end, I got some great advice early on. There's another saxophonist from Pensacola named Joe Evans.
Okay.
And he wrote autobiography called Follow Your Heart. He wrote it along with a professor at Virginia Commonwealth University named Chris Brooks. Talked to Chris Brooks as I was starting this, and he recommended that, at the very early stage of the research, I just laundry list all the questions, each and every question I might have about Junior Cook's life, and just knock them down one by one. So I was just working through there, working through his entire life, and realized I hadn't talked to everybody. Like I said, I wasn't able to get in contact with George Cables, for example. I actually talked to George Coleman for a very short time on the phone. I was able to contact him through Joe Farnsworth, and I was at the very end of this research effort, and I talked to George Coleman, and he said, this week is real busy for me, but give me a call next week, and I can have you over to the apartment. I'll give you 15 minutes. I said, I'm going to take a train to New York City, and you're going to give me 15, and that was to me, in retrospect, that was a lost opportunity, because even 15 minutes with George Coleman is 15 minutes with George Coleman.
I guess they don't know, y'all couldn't FaceTime it?
Right. Well, no, that was his vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But getting through his entire life and then put in also, a decent portion of the book is, I'll say analytic for lack of a better word, trying to sort of decipher, here is Junior Cook's life, what can we pull out of that for Junior Cook as a musician? What can we pull out of that for jazz as an industry and as a music?
Will you ever contact any family members? Does he have any children?
Very, very late in the research effort, I was able to contact some of his, one of his nieces who still lives in Pensacola.
Okay.
I was able to send her a copy of the book once it was done. And in late 2025, we went to Pensacola for Christmas, and I still haven't had a book launch in this area, but the first book launch...
Did you go see his house where he grew up?
I did. I went to see the block. Yeah,
okay.
And there's a picture of that in the book. The house where he grew up is no longer standing, but I was able to take a picture of that same block.
Okay.
And at the book launch late last year, I was able to meet his great great niece. She was able to come to the book launch, and I was able to meet with her. So that
Where'd you do your book launch again?
In Pensacola, Florida.
Okay, you did. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Did he have any children?
He had one child.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Well, bro, hey, man, your first book and man, it's well written, man. And
Thank you so much.
And yeah, man, people going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, are you in the marketing mode now?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Look.
Go on there. Yeah, that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother monster, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
So it's wild because you do all this work researching and you writing and now you got.
And it doesn't mean people gonna read it.
Exactly.
You got to get it out there.
You got to, yeah.
You got to get it out there.
But like going back to what I said, everything matters.
Yes.
You know, so just keep pushing it, and it's going. The tentacles going.
Yes, indeed.
You know,
Yes, indeed.
And as you have a desire to write, to continue writing.
I do. I have some other ideas for jazz biographies, And on that note, I also want to give a shout out to the great Wade Beach.
Okay.
Years ago, my son, Asa, took piano lessons with Wade Beach.
Okay.
We go over to his house, and I would sit in as well. I was trying to, see if I can get whatever I could, know.
Yeah.
But went to his house, and Wade had a coffee table. It had a Charlie Parker biography on it.
Wow.
And I started flipping through that. This is 10 years. It was before COVID. And I ended up getting a copy of the book for myself.
Okay.
And it just really, a love of jazz biographies flourished in me. Like you said, reading a biography, being able to know Charlie Parker, just realizing who their influences were, what they were thinking, different conjunctures in their life.
Yeah.
So now we have an office in our house, and I get a little bougie, little sedity. I say, it's not the office, it's the library.
Gotcha.
But we have a wall of bookshelves, and I have a bunch of jazz biographies, still reading, but there are other subjects. I mentioned Charlie Rouse.
Yeah.
Another one of those. I think there's a parallel there with Junior Cook, because there are a lot of folks, there are a lot of folks who don't know Charlie Rouse. There are a lot of folks who, if they do know him, they only associate him with his time with Monk. In the same way that some cats who know Junior Cook, they only associate him with Horace Silver.
Gotcha.
And there's so much more of a story to be told,
Wow.
Not least that he was born in my beloved Washington, D.C., native Washingtonian.
No doubt about it.
I'm also starting a project of jazz fiction.
Wow.
Writing short stories that have a jazz nexus. I've also been writing some lyrics to some jazz tunes, like in the vocalese, tradition.
Yeah, okay.
There's a wonderful Elmo Hope composition called Low Tide that he recorded, and then his wife Bertha Hope recorded it with Junior Cook on the CD from Steeplechase. I wrote lyrics to that song, and so we performed that with my group CNQ out in Northern Virginia. Now,
do you blog and write articles on jazz and little things like that?
I do some periodically. Okay. I have a website that I established late last year. It's called JuniorCookJazzTenor.org.
Okay.
JuniorCookJazzTenor.org, and it's dedication to Junior Cook, and it's sort of a home base for the book as well. But in that website, I write blog posts just on different aspects of Junior Cook's playing.
Okay.
I've also posted solo transcriptions up there. When I first started the project, I thought about transcribing Junior Cook solos and including them in the book. But, the book is maybe 5 by 8 inches. It wouldn't be easy to write it. So I really couldn't incorporate them in the book. But so I started this website.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I got transcriptions, have other links There are a couple of places on YouTube where Junior Cook used to gig a couple of times in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And whenever he went there, there was a DJ by the name of Lee Common, Kamman, and he interviewed him a couple of times on the radio. So I have links to those YouTubes where you can hear Junior Cook in his own voice, which is really wild. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Now, where could people get the book, man? I mean,
okay, so
talk to the people.
Yes, sir. The book is available on Amazon.com.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's also available through the Texas A&M University Press. University of North Texas Press published the book, but they are part of a Texas consortium with Texas A&M University. So you could go to Texas A&M University Press, TAMUpress.com.
Gotcha.
And you can get the book there as well.
Beautiful.
Yes, indeed.
Beautiful. Man, shoot. Good stuff, man.
Thank you.